For the bare necessities, the simple bare necessities.
Hello and welcome to episode 84 of That's a Shame. Change the intonation.
I was going to say
the
the cadence was something extraordinary there.
Well, I'm in Florida and that's how we do it over here.
Don't be doing it again though.
That's a shame. That's how I normally do it, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm Isaac, joining me as always across the pond, as we say. You know, us Americans, when we're in the States, we're like, oh, those guys across the pond with their crazy taps and that queen and all that gun crime. Remember about, knife crime?
Oh, yeah.
Because remember how that, you know, the prestigious hospital right in the middle of London?
Yes.
That Donald Trump, you know, he probably, I don't know if he's been there himself.
But he knows.
Well,
that
of course, he knows about it because he's probably been briefed.
It's just a great big knife-addled rape shed.
It's a wound, it's a knife wound, like war zone, is what I'm led to believe. And so how are you getting on with that?
Wound fighting wound.
Yeah, wound on wound action.
I'll be honest, I haven't braved the centre of London since.
Really? So you're sticking to Zone 5?
Since he exposed it.
It's good. It's,
the
4-5
border.
Yeah. But I mean, the state of this country where it takes, an American hero like President Trump to be the person to call out for you guys back in London.
And thankfully, he was one of those who helped to expose the Muslim no-go areas that are completely under Sharia law, like Camden.
You remember Camden?
Camden,
God, if you go in Camden
Shoreditch.
Today, it's crazy, isn't it?
It's mad.
Like, if you're not wearing a suit,
you can't
you're
move for the white. No, it's just.
Do you mean the white 14-year-old girls trying to buy their first goth? No. You meant the.
No, I meant the it's basically like an IS stronghold.
Okay. So you're avoiding.
No, you were right. It is just a bunch of people. It's why I hate Camden.
Right.
Is because it's only ever filled with people who are there to say, I went to Camden, but not because anything's there.
Yeah.
Maybe once it was really good, but now
it's the victim of its own success.
Now, there's a Pret.
Mm-hmm.
You're like,
don't go slagging off Pret.
I'm not slagging off Pret, but what I'm saying is that it's just the same as any high street.
It's the same but worse because it's busier. The station is bullshit.
The station is a real shame.
Yeah, I guess so. But you're holding up well then in London.
Yes.
Other than, all the travelling that you can't do and living under Sharia law.
Yeah, apart from that, it's all good.
We walked past somewhere called the Fatwa Centre the other day, didn't we?
It was the other day, because you are still here. This is the past, isn't it?
Oh, you've given it away.
Oh, no. Were we going to...
There was a whole conceit going. I was going to fake a phone call from Florida.
Right.
Saying, oh, how are you enjoying your time here in Florida? You would have been able to hear that on speakerphone.
Right.
But it would have been me. I would have put a compressor on my voice so it sounded like, how are you enjoying your time? Or not Bane. Welcome to Disney World.
Lovely weather.
Yeah, no, I am here. And we did walk past somewhere called the Fatwa Centre. And I don't know anything about it other than...
It sounds dangerous.
It sounded like Salman Rushdie's personal hell.
Yeah.
Who knows?
We went past there because we were on our way to vote.
Oh, to exercise our democratic loins.
That's the... Wow.
That's what they call it. That's what everyone's calling it.
You did the kind of you dropped the shoulder there and went round me.
Yeah.
It was nutmegging me. You dropped it. I was like, democratic rights. You're like, oh, it was the loins.
Caught out in the final.
It was the loins. I don't know about you. I didn't. My loins had nothing to do with
I flexed mine on that chair that was holding the polling station sign outside our polling station, which was thoroughly difficult to find.
It was not only difficult to find, but once you did find it,
you were sent on a challenge
that you never had.
It was like the Crystal Maze. It was like a shit comedy sketch thing where the arrows, it was like polling station this way.
It was like an airplane skit.
Yeah.
Like when the dashboard just keeps going on forever.
We followed so many of them that were going exactly the other way from where the building was behind a fence.
Well, and also because basically they were signs that had foolishly been made with arrows pointing in both directions. It was like polling station this way with arrows going either side. And the idea was that you fold back the one that you don't want.
They had not bothered with some of them.
They hadn't bothered to actually secure it. So some of them, it was all right. But others, it was like some kind of weird...
Have a guess.
Alice in Wonderland riddle.
That's what they're doing with the voting restrictions, though. It's like Gosport, you have to bring a passport. Barnet, you have to just take a guess. They're trying lots of different strategies to see what will best consolidate the Conservative base.
Yeah. It was in a church.
Yes. round the houses, and outside the church, to alert us to the fact that it was a polling station, was a dusty old armchair with a big sign that said polling station, like your nan had set it up or something.
Yeah.
Come along, dear, come and have a vote. It's like huge nationwide effort, and the best they could do is put out a fucking old chair.
Inside, it was the most depressing house of God I've ever been in.
It had like laminate flooring that I don't think God's into at all.
No.
I think if there's one type of flooring he doesn't want, it's laminate.
They thought that was basically the same as parquet. But the thing is, it's not.
Not in God's eyes.
No.
And that's why he's going to smite it any day now.
It was a place that would actively suppress any belief in a higher power.
Yeah, it might be like you're about to have one of those numismatic experiences. My grandma used to tell me this story that really stuck with me throughout church about bacon wrapping round the heart. No, it's not that
yes.
one. It was about this, the reason that you've got to pray. I can't really remember the moral. Try and work out your own moral as I tell it to you.
Okay, yeah.
There was this little girl, and I always used to ask if it was her when she was little.
And she used to get all misty-eyed and look away, and she would go silent for minutes on end.
This little girl who was in church, and it was a Sunday morning. She didn't want to be there. She wanted to be, investing in Bitcoin, probably downloading the latest Fortnite update.
It probably wasn't your nan then.
Oh, well, I don't know. She's what I call a diginan. And
no, but when she was a little girl,
yeah, no, she was very ahead of her time. Pioneer, yeah,
of Bitcoin.
Pretty much. She's been doing it since the late 20s. And so this girl's sitting there. She's probably, I don't know, maybe about 10, 11. And the priest is waffling on about,
As they
probably
do.
God is waffling on about.
Almost certainly. They're
fair.
quite predictable.
Yeah, especially, here's a little spoiler for those of you who don't go to church often. If you have this special church...
You said that like you were judging them. Like a kind of...
For some of you...
very religious mother. Yeah. For those of you who aren't going every day like me, if you're not
grateful
for those
to
of
the
you who
Lord.
aren't putting in the effort for salvation, then...
But there's a book that I think is called a missal.
Yes.
That's a word that I've got all kinds of problems with, but we'll leave those aside. That just spoils the whole of every week at church, because it's like if it's the third Sunday in year B, the ordinary mass, literally the script that the priest's going to read.
Yeah.
How boring is that? The same stories on the same day, and not just like a 3-year cycle.
It's like being a
Mind-numbing.
teacher and having the same scheme of work.
Being the teacher, really, because it is the word.
Oh,
not just some words.
Not just some words.
the
I teach
reproductive
some
system of
words.
frogs,
Yeah.
So there's this little girl. She's sitting there listening to, I don't know, probably that bit where Ruth turns into a pillar of salt on a good day, because that's quite an interesting one. And it comes time to everyone's favourite snack interval, communion, where you go up, you get your
down the wine.
holy wafer. You
Jesus
dip
is
it in the
bread.
wine, fight off the attendant. Here's the worst part about that for anyone of my inclination is watching, there's a line of people going to take the wine. After each of these horrid old mucus-lipped freaks gobbles down the wine, all they do, as if this is helpful, is just wipe it a bit with a cloth and turn the cup. No, I need saline. I need it to be sterilised.
Isaac brings his own
500
chalice.
degrees.
Isaac was inspired to find the Holy Grail
Just
to
for
have
this.
his own communion.
It's good enough for Christ's blood. I mean, even that. No. The problem with this little girl is she's seeing all this communion going on, but she hasn't had her first
She's also a
communion.
germaphobe.
She can't stand the stuff, so she's up to the neck in fucking chlorophyll. No, that's what plants use.
Plants.
She's watching the host and she's thinking, God, quite literally,
God.
if only I had done my first communion, like I'd put the hours in that you probably have to do.
Sure,
I think
why
you have
not?
to learn something off by heart, as I recall. I did when I was about 10. If only I'd listened in Sunday school, basically, because then I could be accepted into the light of God and eat of his flesh and drink of his blood. Mm-hmm. And she's just staring at this host like, oh, God, please, come on. As if. And the host flies out of the priest's hands.
No.
Straight down her throat. Choked the bitch.
To death.
No, didn't choke her. I made it up. But she got to eat of the host, and everyone was like, wow, how'd you do that? And she's
So the moral of the story
it was
is
God.
You don't have to put in the effort.
Yeah, if you're telekinetic. It's a shortcut to heaven.
That was the original name of the Led Zeppelin song. Shortcut to Heaven.
Anyway, why are we talking about all that?
Because we were talking about going to vote.
So we were in that church.
Yeah.
Policeman was there, wasn't he?
But he fucked off as soon as we arrived.
Yeah,
he knew. It was like being the mafia.
He did know. Yeah, we come in, he like sidled out and everyone started nodding and we started like leaning over people's shoulders, ticking their boxes for them. I find the whole process of voting, it mirrors, or at least it sets up the disappointment that as a left-wing person I've felt in every election I've participated in at any point of my life so far, but also presumably forever.
In the future, right?
Forever and ever, amen. Like potentially getting worse and worse if Will Self is to be believed. Because what seems like such a huge, like, oh my God, people died for this right. Like democracy, the great ideal that like is held up in philosophy from 2000 odd years ago. And it comes down to it and you're just in some like shoddy fucking like town hall
church
with 3 old women who are all called Doris who can't find your name on a fucking list, despite me pointing to it quite frequently.
Well, did you see how long it took me to get mine?
Yeah, I wondered
because
why
my name was directly below yours on the
we live in
sheet.
the same place.
Yeah, and she was like, she took 10 minutes to find yours, but she wasn't even old. She was like 20 something.
I know, it's the spirit of age.
Yeah. And then I went, yeah, it's the same address, Declan Delane.
Sorry, so you're not allowed to know his address.
And she went, turned it back to the front page, and I was like, but no, but it was there.
It's a bylaw.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to show any bias in finding the names too quickly because it makes it look like they have prearranged something.
Yeah.
But yeah, the whole thing is so kind of anticlimactic. I remember the first time I ever got to vote was in a local election when I was living in Sevenoaks, and we went to like it wasn't even a church or a town hall. It was just like a room above a cinema. Like literally, I think it was a cafe in the day or something. And like, there was just one old man sort of pointing at a box and you just fill out with pencil as well, which I can't stand. Give it across, shove it in. It doesn't feel like the act is very just semiotically lacking.
It would be the easiest system and indeed is easiest system in the world to just cheat with, because what do 99% of people who vote know about what happens once they've put it in the box?
But also,
what about that Harvester near here that was a polling station?
Yeah, Harvester is a chain of like food-based pubs, isn't it?
Yeah,
like you go for like
a
hearty amount of food, as I recall.
Yeah,
and what did your chair just sink?
Yeah,
I wondered what had happened. I looked away, it shrunk by 3 feet. And they're even roping those guys in to be polling stations nowadays.
Yeah.
It's crazy, isn't it? The state of it all. Let me tell you, broken Britain.
I know.
But luckily, obviously, the local elections came out. How did they come out for you in the end? Because that was the disappointment, the start. Wasn't it? And then we got towards the actual votes being counted, and
well, Colindale, still Labour.
Good on you.
That's
Colindale.
good. But Barnet as a whole,
Yeah.
is now Conservative.
Yeah. Labour increased their share.
Greatest in 47 years. Best since 1971, and it's the Tories' worst since 1971.
But it's interesting, sorry, you just said it's Labour's best since 1971, but I read on like the BBC News, the headline on the day after was Labour fails to perform. Labour underperforms.
Yeah,
fucked it.
The Economist article about the end of Corbynism.
Yeah. You're saying that's
thing that's all of the like Labour right are sharing about failure of the Labour leadership.
Yeah, well, I mean that seems to be the case because of like the amount that they lost, isn't it? Because what are you saying? Labour have fewer councillors than the Conservatives?
No, they've got more councillors than all the others combined.
Oh, but that's they still lost though, didn't they? Just checking.
Well, they didn't lose,
but they've not won, is what you're saying.
They won some,
right? And the Conservatives, they got a lot more than last time.
No, less. Well, they got 5. They increased by 5 councillors, but lost some councils.
Fucking Corbyn lost it, didn't he?
Yeah.
God.
Properly fucked it.
Try harder, old man. That's what I say. It's probably senile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
God. Imagine. Anyway,
people
so that
are fucking idiots.
That was a shame. Yeah. And I overheard a lot of conversations. When was this? Like yesterday, the day before, the day after? Because obviously everyone that I tutor for, they're raging Conservatives naturally.
Yep.
And there was one of the mums who lives in the largest house of anyone that I tutor. Beautiful house in Stanmore on the corner of. It's like they've crushed about 8 houses into one big house because it's on the corner of a corner.
Yeah.
But it looks like there were loads that have just been subsumed into one giant manor. And of course, they work in property development.
Oh!
So I mentioned that I was going to Florida. And she's like, "Oh yes, well we go for business every year to Miami. Lovely, lovely place."
Which way did she vote?
Anyone's guess. I mean, you can never tell.
In the air.
But she was FaceTiming someone on an iPad, which is a comic idea in itself. And I could overhear while I was teaching her son how to write anything.
Yeah.
Saying, "Yes, well, I mean, it's good for us, I suppose, but I just really hoped he'd be decimated because, you know, he deserves it, doesn't he, after what he's done to the Jews." After what he's done to the Jews.
Personally.
Yeah, I mean, you can't move for it these days. But look, from that, we're going on to a much lighter note because, I've got to tell you one quick thing. I got my hair cut today while I'm still in London. Because you don't know what they're going to do in America getting your hair cut, do they?
No,
probably use a machine,
anything,
an AR-15. Shoot it right.
It'd be
off
like the
your scalp.
opening of Full Metal Jacket. They'll just give you a buzz cut while...
Oh no, Vincent D'Onofrio.
Was it Goodbye My Darling, Hello Vietnam plays over the top?
Well, what happened was I went to this place that I've just randomly chosen as going to be the place I always go to.
What's this?
It's just a place in by Golders Green Station, the hair shop. And it's run by this really old man who I think's currently not there because I think his heart's exploded or something like that. It's meant that the previous times I've been there, I've had to endure conversation about his heart troubles whilst someone's got like scissors very close to my head. It's really quite intense.
And you keep going back?
Yeah, I'm going back.
Are you hoping it's like therapy?
It's immersion therapy.
Yeah.
But he's not there at the moment. And who is there instead today was a man who revealed himself in conversation to be 87. He's been cutting hair since he was 13 in basically the same area. And get this, he was doing it really slowly. He had the same hands as that old guy in Toy Story 2.
Yeah.
Who, for some reason, is just such a touchstone at the moment. He seems to be coming up a lot.
Yeah.
So he was doing this really slow, like methodical, but surprisingly dexterous.
Can't rush art.
That's what he said to me. Yeah. While he was fluffing my hair around, he was doing all that, and then just talking about like his life. He grew up in the East End and stuff, and then one of his colleagues was talking to this guy about, for some reason, gangs, and the guy leaned over and he said, "Well, of course, Alf, you've got experience with that, haven't you?" And Alf, this old 89,000-year-old man, said, "Well, yes, of course. I mean, back in the day, it was me and the Crays. I used to cut their hair." This is the man who used to cut the Cray twins' hair. The very hands that massaged Rennie and Reggie's...
Ronnie and Reggie.
Rennie
and Rogie.
Ronnie and Reggie's scalps is now, just
massaging yours.
And he had, let me tell you, a very odd technique going where he didn't, they normally spray.
He used to lick it off.
Very strange. They normally like spray it down.
Yeah.
And then like follow some kind of pattern. You can, normally when I'm watching someone cut my hair, I'm nervous that they're going to fuck it up because I have to live with this hair. And they don't. That's what I don't think they get about the relationship.
I'm sure they do.
No one's ever hammered it home to them. So I'm always watching, trying to like reverse engineer how I would do it if I had to. Like in a pinch, if I had to cut someone's hair. I don't think I'd be very good at it, basically, because I don't really understand the concept. But sometimes they're more methodical than others, and you can kind of see, right, so they're like dividing it into bits. They bring up a certain amount, cut the same bit off, then thin it out.
Yeah.
He only used scissors rather than like the thing that I normally get for this length. And he was just at total random, just like digging in with bits. It was like he was like one of those birds, that Kevin bird in Up. It's like a giant beaked thing that just sort of looks and then pecks suddenly. It was that sort of quality of like in and out. And there was a like halfway point where I was looking in the mirror just broken because it was like
it was just mad. That is the kind of cornerstone of like art as well, isn't it? Like a great artist. If I had to draw something, I would just start in one place and then just go out.
Yeah.
And hope for the best, really. But then you watch something like old Rolf Harris doing his great big artworks where he's like, can you guess what it is?
Or how about Neil Buchanan's big art attacks? Or even like, I used to have it with art teachers at school that they would just start doing something and you're like, well, that's not
anything. And then suddenly they do one line across the whole thing. And you're like, Jesus Christ, it's a zebra.
It's all of the moon.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's mad.
It's mad. So maybe that was just it.
Yeah, he was an odd chap. And it did have that quality, you're right, of him being like, it was like he looked and already could see what he was going for. Like how Michelangelo must have seen David in
or
a big
sort of
block of marble.
Chess grandmaster who can see all the moves coming.
Yeah, it was like that. And at the end, he was like, got very nice hair, and then sent me on my way. And when I was leaving, he went, "Oh, stop!" And then like just brushed my back for a bit before I left.
With his own fingers.
With his tongue. Very strange.
We should probably also say, as it's recent news to us, if not temporally to the listeners, about my car parking ticket.
Oh, you got a car parking ticket?
I got a car parking ticket as well. We may or may not have mentioned.
We've got a parking space downstairs.
Yeah,
so
that's where I was.
You must have been like not quite in it.
No, but I was in it.
But maybe you were like over the lines.
No.
Or maybe you'd parked kind of half and half in one.
No, very much inside it.
Oh.
And the thing is that I had a permit in it as well.
Right, but
for that
they didn't see it, because if they'd seen it, they wouldn't have,
Oh, well, no. Well,
it's up to you to leave the permit visible.
No, well, they did see it.
How would you know that? Were you there?
Well, they sent me a photograph of it.
Of
the permit in the car and the car in the bay.
Right.
And then said,
therefore.
You owe us anyway. Yeah.
It's mental.
They basically, what must have happened is when I closed the door, the permit slid down the side a little into where there's still a window. Yeah. Like there's still a window you could see through, but it was half behind an old, ironically, parking ticket. And if the picture had been taken from any angle other than the lowest one possible, you'd have been able to see that
crouching in front of it.
Any human could look and peer over the top and go, "Oh yeah, it is in date."
And but the thing is, our car space as well, doesn't it? It's like
they don't even have an expiry date on them.
Right.
They just have when they were issued. But he could see the bay number. It says Bay 172 very clearly in the photograph. And their response was not only that this was proof that you couldn't see the permit.
This photo of the permit proves that
it was invisible.
Man alive could detect.
And second, they had an incredible paragraph in which they said, whilst you have now proven that it is your bay that you own, and also that you had a permit in the car to say that at the time. Really, we can only run this system if we charge you. So we can only run this system if our employees can see your permits clearly. And I was like, but he could see it clearly. That's how he knew how to take a photograph of the cunt. It's not like the window. It's not like he
just took 1,000 photos and one of them happens to contain.
No, they sent me two photographs of one of the car parked in Bay 172 and another of the permit in the window for Bay 172.
And so, how much are they charging you?
Oh well, it's because you see, it's £60 unless you pay within a certain amount of time.
How much time was that?
Oh well, here's the thing: is that it doesn't actually say anything on the back about if you're appealing. All it says is you have to get your appeal in within 21 days.
Okay. And
so
you missed the deadline?
I got it in within 21 days.
Well done.
Yeah, but what they've said to me now is because I didn't get my appeal in within 14 days.
Right.
I have to pay the full £100 fine.
Oh, they're making up bullshit lies every second of the way.
Oh, weird. That's a cynical but accurate.
Unscrupulous parking people. Yeah. Who'd have thought? Whatever next, hey?
Madness. So... won't be paying that.
Should we go to court? Should we try and take it all the way to the top?
I think so.
It'd be great fun.
Even if I lose, I want someone to have to explain to me
why
and
I want that person to be wearing a powdered wig and to be in the Old Bailey.
I want someone from this company. I want the guy who gave the ticket and the person who dealt with the appeal to sit there and to my face say, "You can't see your permit." While on the screen there is a big photo blown up of the permit in the window
that they have. Judge vision. We should do some kind of variant on what Jimmy does to Chuck in Better Call Saul in that incredible episode.
Oh yeah.
I'm not sure how it would work. I think we'd have to probably plant a car, maybe your car keys on them or something, or we'd have to do like some sort of trick them into revealing that they can see something from a certain distance if that's their idea.
Yeah,
that would be good. Something to work on. Something else to work on is not segues, because I've got that down to a T. But it is, in fact, a certain question. Now, Toby King, last week.
Went for a drink with him last night.
How was
He's
he?
doing well.
Loving the Would You Rathers.
He actually mentioned to me at the time that his email was sarcastic. And
because sometimes that doesn't get conveyed.
yeah, he was like, bring us more.
Yeah, and did he want any like personal? Because we could maybe if we've got 5 minutes at the end, we could record a few to send just to him.
Yeah, could
if he loves them that much.
Yeah, I think he does. Yeah, I
Because
think
that's
he's on
what
board.
friendship
I think he's on board.
is
Yeah,
about,
that's
like
certainly our
going
friendship.
the extra mile.
Yeah.
So we've got another one here, and I'm just going to throw it out there and see what you think.
All right, I'm on board.
I will warn you, there's an element of sexism to it, but that's part of the challenge.
Right,
Is
okay.
Where it's the extent to which you're willing to, become that kind of person. It's a bit like the Milady one last time. Would you rather only be able to refer to everyone else as sugar tits or yourself solely as the Commando? Sugar tits versus the Commando. A script I'm working on. To no avail thus far. Antonio Banderas
It's not a
was
pornographic script, is
No,
it?
it's not. It's not really anything.
The Commando.
Yeah.
Not
the
the-
Commander. No.
Well,
What's your initial feeling?
my initial feeling is sugar tits for everyone else.
Really?
Yeah.
That's odd. I thought the obvious answer was the other one.
No, because I don't. I think that in life, like you said last time about Milady, if you think that you could build a comedy persona around that, you could build one around sugar tits because you could do it. But you could do it in the Welsh Gavin and Stacey, like Dave coaches.
Could
how he always
you?
calls people sugar
Emphasis
tits.
on you.
Yeah, I'll do it.
You're going to become a Welsh person.
No, but I'll just
After having slagged them off last week.
Every time I have to say it, I'll be like,
Sugar tits.
yeah, all right, sugar tits.
Wow. Okay.
Because
how's that going to go at like family reunions?
I just won't address anyone. I don't talk to anyone anyway. So,
How's
but
that
I
going to
just
go like a job interview?
well, how are you going to get a job interview if on your application you put your name down as the Commando?
I don't know. I think in writing you're allowed to do whatever.
No.
Just conversation.
Just so that you can swing it to your answer.
No, but
That's what I mean. Because last week
you
when it
read
was
the question
Milady,
again.
I had to say it in writing every time.
Is it referring to yourself when you write your name? Only
Yes.
in a loose sense.
What,
It's not the
in
idiomatic
the most
understanding.
direct sense.
No, it's I don't know. I'd say okay. Well, let's take the writing one as well. Then I think if you're going to have to write letters that start "Dear Sugar Tits" to like this parking ticket people when you're sending your appeal off to the High Court, you're going to start with "Dear Your Right Honourable Justice Sugar Tits."
No, but here's the thing.
Yeah.
I'd get someone else to write it.
Well, why not just get someone else to write your name on a
Because
fucking
when
form
I
then?
have to introduce myself to people or say anything, I have to say,
Do you
I'm
think
the
you
Commando.
say your name? Do you think you refer to yourself in conversation more than to everyone else?
No, but when I do, it's often more important.
I don't know, because when you're saying your own name, you're not.
Imagine
trying to impress
handing over your passport and it says the Commando on it.
But that would be just incorrect then, because obviously you can't like change your name to the Commando. I don't think. I'm assuming.
Okay, but when it says refer to yourself,
I think we should stick to
I
conversation.
feel like, but I also then feel like if I say I'm
you have
referring
to
to
say the
myself.
Commando.
If
The
I say
Commando's
me
hungry.
or my, excuse me, that's the Commando's dinner.
The Commando's sitting there. I think you'll find. But you could definitely get away with like, right, mate, I'm. Give me a hand. Yeah, I'm the Commando. How's it going, sugar tits?
I don't know if you have to do
swapped.
both.
But if you're just like, yeah, no, they call me the Commando, and then never explained it, or you could come up with
But
loads
people
of
would
different-
not let you not
Well, you could
explain
come up with
it.
loads of different. You could be like, oh, because I've
What, like
never
the
been a
Joker talking
Commando.
about his scars?
Yeah. My father was in the army. I never wear underwear. I think there's more scope to just play off because you're in control. If someone's finding out your name, the ball is in your court to present yourself however you want. I'm the Commando. Like, that's just who I am.
But as well, I think that I'm fine where I am with the people I know. I'm not looking to know anyone else. So I reckon I reckon I could get away with the sugar tits thing. After a while, it just becomes white noise. But to me, there would always be something dreadful knowing that if I had to refer to myself, it'd have to be as the Commando. It's about my own pride here. And if people want to see
It's
me
a
as
selfishness,
offensive,
definitely, yeah.
If people want to see me as a bit
a kind of
offensive,
1950s Mad Men style sexist.
then I'd take that over he is a literal incel.
I just don't think you're acknowledging the full gamut of experiences that you're going to have by having to call everyone else sugar tits. Like, what if our script was called for a meeting at the BBC?
I'd just send you.
No, but they're like, no, we have to meet both of you. Oh my God, you can really hear the two different voices. Love to meet Declan.
I'll pretend to be a mute.
Love to meet the Commando.
I'll pretend to be a mute.
Okay.
But imagine sending in the script written by Isaac Bernard Doyle and the Commando.
Sounds like a band. Sounds like my new band.
Isaac BD and the Commandos.
That's fucking great. I could do that. Okay, so you could pretend to be a mute in that situation, sure. I'll give you that. What about what about tutoring? You're going to call a kid that you're tutoring, some 12-year-old boy, you're going to call sugar tits.
Yeah, I'm going to go for it.
Get arrested.
Well,
no DBS checks in the world are going to stand between you and the long arm of the law.
But what about turning up and then going, hi, and you're going, hi, and like, this is my kid, this is Alice.
Ashlyn.
Yeah.
This is Natelyn.
And you have to go, hi.
Hi, Natelyn.
I'm the Commando. Don't you worry.
So threatening.
Don't you worry, the Commando will see you through.
I think if I were that kid, I'd find that very reassuring. I'd be like, wow, he's got a military training tutoring.
They would run away screaming. But I already look like at any moment I could
turn
go
around
deviant
and kidnap someone.
Yeah.
I think what it comes down to for me is it's this thing of like where the onus is in addressing yourself rather than other people. I feel like if I'm calling myself the Commando, people are like, well, that's weird, but that's kind of his deal. Whereas if I'm calling someone else sugar tits, I'm inflicting that on them.
Right.
And so they would then, like, no one's going to get cross at me for being called the Commando. They'll just be like, well, he's mental.
But I don't mind.
But people are going to get cross at you for calling them sugar tits.
I don't mind people getting cross at me, though.
But you do, because it would ruin all professional... A lot of like...
Oh, well, you're right. That is a big part of my life.
Anyone that's like on the periphery of like... You could get away with it for maybe 10 closest friends. Everyone else is going to be baffled by it. You're meeting like friend of a friend.
Yeah.
Or like, say one of your friends has got a new like partner and you're being introduced, or it's the wedding. Flash forward 5 years. It's like Dance's wedding. Tits. And you're going up, it's like, oh, how do you know the couple? Which one are you with? You're like, oh yeah, no.
He's my best friend, sugar tits.
You can't just lapse into Welsh every time.
That's it. Got to do it.
That's much more mad than just getting down with the Commando.
But I don't mind people thinking of me as mad. What I do mind them thinking of me as someone who calls themselves at a moment's notice the Commando.
I'm certain. I haven't.
Also, the Commando is
what are the connotations of it?
Well, it's like a seriousness about it. It's like, I am the Commando.
I love it to the.
Yeah, well, exactly.
I'm Commando.
No, it's I am the Commando. Yeah. It's like, it's seriousness. It's like it instills an idea that you believe in it. Whereas sugar tits isn't a nice phrase, but it is clearly like it's a humorous phrase still.
Yeah, but we're so past the point where anyone can get away with it. Like, so past the point.
Yeah, I know, but that's the thing is that
I think you get beaten up a lot.
That's fine.
You'd rather take a beating every other week than just call yourself the Commando.
Why am I getting a beating? From
because
whom?
If you're in like what if you're in a bar? How about this for an example? You're ordering at a busy bar and you need to do that classic thing of like you've ordered too many drinks or you've ordered like 3 drinks and you have to do the triangle move, carrying it over people's heads. Not something I do a lot myself. Carrying it over, like squeezing past people, and you're like, "Oh, sorry, mate! Like, watch out!" And all of the times you're referring to people, sorry, sugar tits.
You couldn't do that without saying, by just saying, "Excuse" or "Sorry."
You could, but I think you'd.
Right, there you go.
I think you'd definitely not do that all the time. Like you would lapse, and imagine when you're actually drunk as well. The amount of people you're going to be calling sugar tits.
Sorry, but also imagine with your drinks going, sorry, the Commando's coming through.
But you don't have to say I'm coming through.
Can the Commando get past?
Yeah,
you don't have to say.
That would be fine though. People would be like, oh, that guy's jokes, he's drunk.
Which is fine there, but also...
Whereas if you call some guy's girlfriend sugar tits...
Just turning up being like, and turning up to vote. What, name and address? That's the Commando. Commando, the...
Oh, okay.
I'm not. I simply refuse to call
really
myself the
interesting.
Commando.
I
I'm not doing it.
Is it specifically the name the Commando, or is it that you'd always go for the one that you call other people rather than one you call yourself?
No, it's the Commando.
How about if it was the Commander? The Commander's in town.
No, still because there's.
How about
it's
the Commodore?
I would kill myself, so I don't have to say either.
The Commodore's back. Okay, fair enough. I would be curious. I'm going to look into the comments of when this one was posted because I'm certain that everyone went for the Commando. I'm sure that that's got to be the most popular option.
But as we know about Reddit, they aren't always right.
True, but in this case, it's you.
A lot of people upvoted that stuff about being a tea fiend. So
oh yeah, they did, didn't they? Tea fiend is a horrible bit of language. Let's have one more and then we're out of here because I've got the Tomorrowland Transit Authority people mover to be going on with. I think this one's up your street for two reasons. It's to do with two particular interests. One is a certain food, and the other is a certain brand of violence, and of being able to exact your own violent authority on the world.
And that's
These
what
are things
you think of me.
It's on your CV.
He eats and beats people up.
He eats and beats. Eats, beats and leaves. Eats, beats and leaves works as a title, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Wow. Shall I send that to Sue, whatever her name is?
Yeah, go for it.
Would you rather be able to eat McDonald's for free for the rest of your life? Or, and I think you're going to lean towards the first one until you consider fully the ramifications of the second.
Oh, okay.
Be able to summon an invincible Ronald McDonald to fight for you for 5 minutes every day. Now, first thing, because I know you've gone straight to the food. I can see that. But
I have not a lot of use for the Ronald McDonald.
When he says fight for you, you probably went to fist fight. Mm-hmm. I'm saying he's in your corner for anything you ever need.
But here's the thing.
You need someone to back you up, Ronald's there.
But here's the thing.
You need someone to stop traffic while you cross the road.
Unless it's a fight, summoning Ronald McDonald is an instant loss.
Why?
If you're having a debate and you're like, well, you may have given a good point, but here's my friend Ron.
You have to ding the Ronald bell.
Now, quick, you've got 5 minutes, Ron. Show him what you've got.
Who's going to argue with an obviously murdering clown mascot?
But also, who's going to take you seriously?
Everyone, because the next day you fuck them up with Ronald again if they don't take you seriously.
Right, so it is about fighting.
It can be. That's the beauty
what you're
of
saying.
it. There's a versatility to it.
But I don't think I'd have as much use for that.
For the Ronald man,
no.
You could literally become known. Like, you could build a whole act around his 5 minutes of just summoning Ronald McDonald. Like, what do you want? That's magic. You've got a magic power that no one else has.
Yeah, but
people would be like,
what power is greater than free McDonald's?
The power, look, you could pack out a stadium. People would be going mental just to see. And also, how about this? In that 5 minute period, you're telling me there's a McDonald's alive that you walk into with Ronald McDonald. He's not hooking you up. He's not going to hook your boy up with the free Mackie D's. He's obviously got it coming out of his trousers.
Is this a universe in which he is... It's not you're summoning an invincible Ronald McDonald, like the question says. It is that it is the Ronald McDonald. Yeah. That even though he was a fictional invention... Yeah. All McDonald's outlets will take him seriously as the real deal.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know the extent to which you'll have to convince them that it's the real Ronald McDonald, but it is. So the truth is in your corner.
Right, but also...
it could be one of those things like if someone was like, oh, nice hair, mate, cool wig, and they go to pull it off and they're like, oh, fuck, that's just his actual hair, and then they look at him and he's like 18... He always struck me as a very tall character, isn't he? If he's like this gargantuan spindle man coming in for a burger, like, it's going to be hard to deny the abject fact that that
sounds horrific.
Of course he is, but that's why you want him in your corner rather than allowing someone else to get the 5 minutes where they're obviously going to target you.
I think that this question is better considered if it's not a power that you have to summon him, but instead that if ever he senses that you're in any kind of distress, he appears. In which case, there's some because, like you say, obviously summoning any invincible being to defend you for 5 minutes a day whenever you want, is OP compared to almost anything else.
Yeah. Compared to being able to call everyone else sugar tits.
Oh yeah, it's the real power.
It's a really easy one.
But what if you want him if you're in a nightclub and someone starts on you and he appears like all 20 feet of limbs just like swinging around.
In my head, he probably plays like old 50s McDonald music.
Out of his nose. Yeah. So that's kind of when you want him to just sort of like cleave through the crowd and
that'd be sick.
eat someone's head or whatever he does.
I think that's what he does. Yeah.
But also, like, if you're just having a little argument, if I was having a little argument with my girlfriend, and I'm like, she's like, you didn't empty the dishwasher. I'm like, I don't want. I was playing my game. She's like, I've asked you twice, and then suddenly,
who's here to play? That's how he sounds.
Leave him alone. just smashing through. Yeah,
starts like tearing her flesh.
Yeah, and I'm trying to stop him, but he's invincible. So
fuck,
you can't.
I don't know that the element of control is explored enough in the question, because once you've summoned him, it doesn't say like up to 5 minutes. It's like he's here for 5 minutes and he's gonna hit. Like if you were just having, like you say, a small problem that could be solved in 10 seconds, he's not going after that. He's here.
So you have to make him a cup of tea.
No.
Calm him down.
I think
he's
whenever he appears, he's amped. He's like fucking ready to go. So he'd just be like, if that problem was solved, he'd like look for something else or maybe cause one of his own.
I love the idea that, I managed to convince him that, it's fine. I'm going to empty the dishwasher.
You don't have to shred her into lettuce.
And he's like, and then like just, I don't know, Mark comes in to make a cup of tea. He's like, you want some? You want some? What do you want?
I'd be moving out so quickly if you had this power.
I'd antagonise you just so that you'd eventually bite back and Ronald would have.
Oh my god!
I like the idea that there's kind of it's very filmy that there's a sort of rumbling beforehand, and you suddenly realise, and you're like, no, I didn't mean
Don't
it.
bring Ronald. You can have.
I can't stop him.
What if when you get this power, I automatically get the ability to summon the Wimpy mascot, the giant round fat burger?
Fucking Ronald McDonald will eat him in 1 second.
What about a 30-foot Burger King? Like he's the king with his scepter. He wants it his way.
Right,
but he's not prepared to settle for
less. But what we have to remember is that by definition of the question, Ronald is invincible, so he can't be beaten.
There are levels of that though, aren't there? Like Pennywise can't be beaten strictly because it's an immortal thing. But I reckon we could like beat Ronald's corporeal form through the power of friendship and fucking in a sewer.
Oh right, yeah.
And then maybe go into the next
kids.
realm. So, sorry, I should have specified. Stephen King has to have it as.
What I think is that your Burger King is he's quite powerful. No one's denying that, but he's too big.
Too big for what? To fail.
He's the Banks. No,
I might swap him out then.
I think that because he's no use to you in this room without killing all of us.
That's true. Yeah, he's not a delicate man, is he?
No.
Whereas Ronald's got. I mean, he's got the size, but he's also.
But he's like one of those horrible kind of like cartoon monsters where
he's like a big daddy long legs.
Yeah, he could like he's 10 feet tall, but he bends his arms to come under the doors, and then he's like looming over.
He could probably get under the.
He's basically the Babadook.
Yeah, he's very Babadook-esque, isn't he?
Yeah.
I'd like to propose that we do, when I'm back, a deep dive into. Have you ever watched all the old McDonald's cartoons?
Yes.
I think we should revisit some of the early ones because the sheer volume of characters that they created is really quite something. And I think there's some content there to explore. Cool. Well, you haven't chosen which one, but it sounds like you want him.
Well, which is it? Is it where I can just control him or where I can't?
There's no binary outcome. It's about how persuasive are you. It's about can you get under the skin of this giant freak, this spindly
so it starts with him appearing whenever, and I have to over time get it to the point where he's actually under my control.
No, I think you can summon him whenever, but you don't know what he might be doing. He might have been like out for a jog. He might have been eating, kids or whatever he does. So you don't know what mood he's going to be and what vibe he's bringing to the scene.
I think I'll be taking the free McDonald's.
That's fair enough. Look, let's wrap up. We've got all kinds of ways you can get in touch. There are would you rathers aplenty to be had. If you've ever thought of any good ones, maybe you've got a friend who knows them, like Toby, then send them over to tas@shane.city. We're on Twitter, are we not?
At That's a Shamecast is the show.
I'll put up that picture of me at the polling station.
I'll send it to you, yeah. At Isaac BD for Isaac.
Where I'll be
Cynical
tweeting
Declan
Disney pictures. Plenty.
for me.
Declan won't be.
I won't be, no.
Declan will be calling everyone sugar tweet. Sugar tweet?
Sugar twits.
Sugar twits is an interesting idea. Reviews are very helpful and appreciated. Now, we haven't had many recently, so it's not that I'm angry.
We're not gonna. Are you going to read that last month's one again then? Yeah.
I come back into this country,
Right.
and there's nothing to be said for new reviews. If I get that email at the start of what's the next month of June, that's like no reviews this month, I will be reading. Not just in every episode, but I'll be uploading new episodes. Episode 86.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.35 until, we get something new.
That sounds good.
So that's on new, shame.city/review or reviews. It does boost the show, so, why wouldn't you? Hey.
Yeah, give us a hand.
Yeah. Speaking of giving us a hand, Declan.
Give us a handful of dollar.
Over at patreon.com/shamecity.
Yeah.
We're going to be restructuring it somewhat when I get home. We don't know what. It's going to have slightly different tiers, I expect.
Yes.
But the upside is you get more content over there. There'll be a bonus RSS feed that you get that you just put into your pod catcher, and it does it all for you. It's very easy, isn't it?
Very, very easy.
Startlingly easy.
Very.
Yeah. That's it, isn't it?
Wommy Bomb.
Oh, of course. I'll be wommy bombing all over Florida. Everyone I meet. Mickey Mouse going to be right on the hype. Shall I see if I can interview anyone odd while I'm there? Because there's all sorts of mad people.
Literally anyone odd.
Yeah, that'd be good. Maybe the mayor of Disneyland, Disney World, died actually quite recently. So I guess I won't be interviewing him.
You can interview his estate.
Yeah, here you go, guys. Look, we'll be back with a bang on episode Sunday's one. Don't know what number that is. 85?
This is a Sunday's one.
Oh, Wednesday's one then. God, time is a great big mystery.
Which will be episode 85.
Until then, I've been Isaac. You've been.
I've been Declan.
See you real soon.
Bye, guys.
Look for the bare necessities, the simple bare necessities. Forget about your worries and your strife. I mean the bare necessities, oh Mother Nature's recipes that bring the bare necessities of life. Wherever I wander, wherever I roam, I couldn't be fonder of my big home. The bees are buzzing in the tree to make some honey just for me. The bare necessities of life will come to you. For the bare necessities, the simple bare necessities. Forget about your worries and your strife. I mean the bare necessities, oh Mother Nature's recipes that bring the bare necessities of life. Wherever I wander, wherever I roam, I couldn't be fonder, my new home. The bees are buzzing in the tree to make some honey just for me. The bare necessities of life will come to you.